As the great independent director Mr. Werner Herzog once said, I despise formal restaurants. I find all of that formality to be very base and vile. I would much rather eat potato chips on the sidewalk.
Hello and welcome to Potato Chips on the Sidewalk. I'm Jacob and this is Ben, and we have not been on a hiatus at all.
Huh, what? Where are we?
We're doing our best TV shows of 2023.
2023?
Yeah.
When did we last record in 2023?
Barbenheimer, that was...
Yeah, well, you know.
Look, okay, we do owe you an explanation for that. Yeah, life gets really busy.
Yeah, stuff happens.
Ben and I travelled at not concurrent times, like...
One after the other.
Oh yeah, one after the other.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that is what concurrent means.
So, no, concurrent means at the same time.
Oh, okay, fuck.
Now
whatever.
It's an English lesson on the sidewalk.
Yep, okay. Yep, so... Yep, then had a bit of the old personal tragedy in my life after that, and then suddenly it was December, and, you know, December, so we're here now. We watched a lot of TV, films, and games. So what did you think of 2023 overall for TV, Ben? Because this was a year where a lot of the most acclaimed shows wrapped up, and it also was one where like a lot of series really exploded in terms of popularity.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of dry for me in general. Like, you know, like I got my returning shows, like 3/5 of my list is the same shows from last year. But other than that, I didn't really watch that much outside of those. Like I watched a couple of things, but I decidedly did not like the big hit show that everyone else liked. But yeah. It wasn't. I don't think it was a great year for TV. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, look, I must admit, I'm not that much of a TV guy, to be honest. Like, weirdly enough, like as I'm sure the person who's been listening to our podcast over the years has noted that, like, I tend to gravitate towards like shorter sitcom stuff. So that is kind of where I'm more well versed at than dramatic TV, to be honest. But like look, yeah, I think it was an okay year considering. There were some disappointments throughout the year, but you know, I think the cream of the crop was really good. But yeah, I mean, I can't exactly say it was the most exciting year for TV. Sorry, just realised that we hadn't discussed this before, but as it is tradition for the past 4 years we've done this podcast, what was your favourite TV show that didn't come from this year that you first watched?
Well, I don't really think this counts because I have seen it before, but I was watching it from the beginning for the first time. Like, I've only seen like it here and there, but getting through Curb Your Enthusiasm, sorry. It's maybe one of the just like pinnacles of comedy of all time. I love Seinfeld, and this is Seinfeld on steroids. Like, my favorite character from Seinfeld is George, and to have like an entire show about the inspiration of George is just... I'm not saying anything that anyone hasn't said before about this show, but I do want to highlight the episode The Doll, I think from the second season. I won't say anything for people who haven't seen it, but for everybody who knows this episode, it might be just one of the most like cringe-inducing, perfectly crafted half hours of comedy ever made. What about you?
The thing is, like, I didn't really watch a whole lot of TV this year. Like, in terms of like catching up, I mean, besides rewatching the Geelong Cats 2022 season because our 2023 season was too depressing,
That's the most depressing thing I've ever heard.
No, but I did do a full watch through of New Girl, which I don't quite think is like in the upper pantheons of sitcoms, but like it's really watchable
I think
show that you can watch from front to back really easily, and
I think it's a testament to how great the actors and the characters are as compared to like the actual like writing of the show. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to discount the writing because, you know, obviously like they created the characters and they're like putting them in those situations, but I think it would be like an okay show if it wasn't elevated by that core cast of characters that they have.
Yeah, definitely. And like, look, Zoe Deschanel, like, even though I think like the show's big weaknesses, it does tend to drag the feet between the Jess and Nick thing, and it's like you don't really give a shit about their other romances for the most part, not always, but like but yeah, it's like Zoe Deschanel, like Jake Johnson, Lamorne Morrison, of course, like Max Greenfield as Schmidt is just like, that's such a well-tuned lead cast of characters.
Yeah.
And like, look, Hannah Simone and like Damon Wayne Jr. when like he is on the show, like, yeah, it's just really well-oiled, watchable TV. Like, I don't think it's in the upper pantheon of great sitcoms, but, you know, I can't really think of anything else I watched this year that could really qualify as my favorite outside of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So should we get stuck into our top 5?
Yep, definitely. So the way we do this, we do a bit of a snake. So I do my 5th favorite, and then Jacob does his 5th, and then his 4th, and I do my 4th, and then the 3rd. So like we're gonna be going back and forth that way. So do you want me to start? Or do you want to start?
You go. You start, mate.
Okay, so I think it's good to talk about this one first because I think it's probably the one I put on the list because of my own biases. Like number 5 for me this year was the only season of Lucky Hank because it got cancelled because nobody watched it. But
I didn't even know it got cancelled.
Really?
No.
I feel because it was only me watching it because I love Bob Odenkirk, and I think it was a really good role for him. Like, it's a really well written show, like very well acted, and it's calm in a way that's just like, it's about a character going through a midlife crisis, and like the anger you can feel in Bob Odenkirk's character is very understated, and it's not just another Jimmy McGill, Saul Goodman character. Like, he's doing something completely different here, and I just I was excited to watch it because, you know, like, Bob Odenkirk left my screen in 2022, and then 2023 is another Bob Odenkirk show. I will watch it. But yeah, no, like, I think it was a really good show that just kind of, you know, was a victim of being just like an AMC show. Like, you know, like, no one really had eyes on it. Like, it's adapted from a book. I don't know much about the book or anything, but yeah, I don't know. It's just I feel
AMC seems to only be able to have like one hit show at a time.
Yeah.
And now it's Interview with a Vampire, so
yeah. Well, you know, like, I think it's good. Again, like, it's a shame that it got cancelled after the one season, but, you know, I thought that was kind of inevitable while I was watching episode 7 and being like, I haven't heard anyone talk about this. But yeah, Jacob, what's your number 5 favorite TV show of 2023?
This was a lot lower than I expected. Like, once I went to sit down and write my list, but yeah, Barry, the final season of Barry. That that was my 5th best show of the year. Look, the thing is, it's like, a lot of people really shit on the final season of Barry. I'm not one of those people. I don't think it hits all of its ambitions perfectly, but again, it's like, perfection should not be the litmus for what a good, even very, very, very good TV show needs to go up to. Like, look, I think it's good. I think, you know, it's an ambitious season of TV, and that, like, obviously, I guess it's not too much of a spoiler to say, because the way pretty much people talk about this series is like, it does take some very big stylistic shifts throughout it, and you know, I think some people get a bit mean at Bill Hader for it, but I think it actually does work thematically for the most part. I like that every season of the show becomes a different beast in a way, and look, yeah, we are saying goodbye to 4 of the great TV performances of perhaps all time.
Yeah.
You know, with that show. I have a feeling that it might appear on your list, so I probably don't want to talk about it too much. But yeah, I think it's really, really, really good season of TV, and I think it's a good way to wrap it up, even if it doesn't do it perfectly.
Nice.
Okay, my number 4. So I said I'm a sitcom guy.
Oh.
Abbott Elementary is a show that I immediately took a while to get onto, because sometimes, you know, you do wonder, it's just like, okay, this show's so hyped about, you know, it's sometimes a little scary to get onto something a bit hyped about, because you don't want to be like the I don't get it sort of guy. But I watched it, and season 2 of this, like, well, it concluded in 2024, half the season technically premiered in 2022, but that's besides the point. Yeah, look, it's just as perfectly tuned sitcom ensemble that you're getting. It is so well written, and like, just, you know, I think it really is a testament to like Quinta Brisson, and just how she has a good penchant for understanding how to really take the ideas of characters from, you know, I'm not saying anything that isn't said in like a normal TV screenwriting class, but like the way she takes these characters and allows them to grow in their quirks is so good. I think, you know, she's great as Janine, but I think it really is Tyler James Williams as Greg and Cheryl Lee Ralph as Barbara Howard, just 2 of the most like perfect comedic performances I can really recall in quite some time. Gregory especially is a character who, you know, got set up like the sort of quote-unquote straight man of the ensemble, but the further the show went along, the more it realized how to actually make something out of the straight guy character, that he's just hysterical by the time we do end up in like the depths of season 2. Like, yeah, I think it's just an astonishing show, and it will be starting again. Season 3 will be starting next month, so I'm so excited. And yeah, the Abbott Elementary hype is completely warranted.
Okay. I haven't seen that, so like I need to get onto it. I've seen clips around, you know, on the TikTok. So I have liked what I've seen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
What is your number 4, Ben?
My number 4 is Shrinking on Apple TV Plus, the
Nice.
Bill Lawrence and Jason Segel show. A lot of comedies these days are leaning into drama more and more.
Yes.
And I do miss like stuff like you're talking about Abbott Elementary, and you're talking about New Girl earlier. Like, you know, like straight comedy shows are like few and far between. I think Shrinking really nails the dramedy type stuff that's happening. I really enjoy Jason Segel. I don't know what like the public perception of him has been like over the last few years, but like I didn't really like the film that much, but was it Windfall that came out last year, the year before?
Yeah.
And same director, the Afterlife one with Rooney Mara in it. Blanking on what that was called.
Oh yeah. The Malcolm McDowell's son. What's his name?
Yeah. But I can't remember what the film was called. You'll if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But
yeah.
I think he's really nuanced in a way that like he didn't really get to do much when he was in How I Met Your Mother. But yeah, I just find Jason Segel endearing, and then like the cast surrounding him here, like especially Harrison Ford, who like seems to actually be enjoying himself acting, which is like unheard of recently. I just think it's a sweet show. It like it does go into its heavy themes every now and then, but like I feel like I am laughing watching it. Like I hate that I have to say that I am finding it funny watching a comedy, but yeah, I just think everything involved with it is very good. Like I'm very much looking forward to a second season, and I just a great enjoyable show, I think. And Harrison Ford just when he's enjoying himself, it seems to be a little bit of magic for me. Like he just pops off the screen like that.
Yeah.
My number 3, you just talked about Barry, season 4. People seem to be mean about this season, like you said, but at the end of the day, like I don't think it is the best season of Barry.
No,
But
definitely not.
in terms of just like especially in the TV space, just the care and attention to the camera and just points of like surrealism in this season, I was really impressed by. Like if you find Fred Armisen funny, I think one of the funniest things he's ever done is the face that he makes in like the 3rd episode of this season.
Yes.
It's just, I know like people didn't really like the way that it ended. I think people kind of turned on the show a little bit when season 3 kind of said, why are you still rooting for this guy? It really went in your face with that in season 3, and then season 4 was just kind of went all out of just like there's nothing forgivable about this guy at all.
Yeah.
But I really like the bullet that they put on the end of it, the sequence with the kid from It. What's his name?
Jaden Martell.
Yeah, playing Barry's son, and Jim Cummings in the fake movie. I feel like like Bill Hader, like everyone was saying like, oh, he just hated the show by the end and he wanted to get rid of it, and he just but I feel like he did put a nice little button on the end with that, basically just saying what he wanted to say. And like of course Henry Winkler is just great in it. Sarah Goldberg is I talk about how Ray Seahorn was unsung for Better Call Saul, but like I feel the same with Sarah Goldberg. Like she was just unbelievably like like just not talked about enough.
Yeah, definitely.
Throughout the entire run of the show, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, and I'm just looking forward to what Bill Hader does in the cinematic space now that he's like escaped his TV clutches, as everyone seemed to think.
Yeah.
Jacob, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is I hate to be this guy. I really fucking hate to be this guy. I hate to be the guy who's like, what breaks the medium a bit, but look, if there are national screen bodies funding TikTok stuff, there's no reason that should count as quote-unquote TV or series or whatever, but something independently done can't be. So I'm sorry to say that my 3rd best quote-unquote TV show this year is Veronica _is cool's unofficial Kyle saga on TikTok. Do you know this?
No.
Okay, so Veronica Slowaska, I think that's how you pronounce her name. I apologize if that's not. But it's she's a Canadian American comedian who I think is now based in New York. And look, it's like she's done a lot of like stuff on TV and like movies before. I think she was in this year's Canadian Film I Like Movies, and I think she also has one of the funniest like side character moments in the What We Do in the Shadows TV series. She is a legit talent, and I think she's especially in the New York comedy scene starting to really rise up quite a bit, and she's done this weird TikTok series with a couple of her friends, Kyle Chase and Michael Reese, where pretty much it just starts off as her just being this very goofy character, just obviously like trying to really like play up to the boy Kyle she likes, but I don't know, I can't really explain it, but like Veronica with a K instead of a C _ is cool. Follow her on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and I don't know where you can even start with this series, but like just pick anything from 6 months ago and then just start watching from there, and I promise you will be laughing and just so invested. And I'm not a TikTok guy myself, but I have been hooked onto this, so apparently to me that that was above Abbott Elementary and Barry, so what can you do? All right, is it me next?
Yeah, it is. What's better than TikTok this year, Jacob?
The final season of Succession. Look, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be surprising too many people, and I have a feeling this is also going to be perhaps on Ben's top 5 as well. But, you know, what can you say about Succession? We did a whole fucking series recap on it for the final season. Yeah, it's one of the greatest shows ever made. It is funny, it's a tragedy, it's like I don't know, I almost feel redundant for speaking about Succession. It's Succession, and it's the show that deserves all the hype and love it gets, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. So Ben, what's your number 2 of the year?
My number 2 of the year is The Bear.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite comedy again. Season 1 of The Bear, I loved. It was just like this fresh thing, and the few episodes that especially gave me like the anxiety I didn't really get from anything since like Good Time or Uncut Gems from the Safdie brothers. Like it was something with that energy that just the first thing I saw outside of those two brought to the screen, and it was just, I think, like a very like simple show done very, very well. Season 2 takes where the characters are at the end of that very, very solid first season, and I think it just runs away with, I think like there's 10 episodes, I think 5 of them are just like focused on the central character, like, and just like studies them for the half an hour to 40 minutes that the episodes like run for, and it just, I think it used TV as a format a lot better than most other shows did this year. I do think it was a shame that it was released all at once. Like if this was a weekly show, I feel like it would have like the discussion around it would have been amazing, especially after the 6th episode called Seven Fishes. It's like a flashback episode to a Christmas that the characters all attended together, and it's a longer episode for the series. I think it's around like 66 minutes, and it is, first of all, the cast, like people just kept turning up, and I think I was like sending messages to Jacob. I was like, what, where the fuck did this person turn up? And then like it happened like every like 2 or 3 minutes there would just be like another actor or like comedian that I love just like turning up out of nowhere, and I was like, what is happening right now? And then it just ends in this Christmas dinner argument scene, and it, like, I fully did not know like what was gonna happen. Like I was just like, is somebody gonna like just pull out a gun and shoot someone? Like what's, like, is somebody gonna get stabbed? Like what's happening here? Like it was like the anxiety inducing episode, you know, like that I talked about from season 1, but it was just it wasn't over the top either. Like it felt realistic, like where everyone's just fucked up in their own way, and it also just some very funny stuff happens. I joked about it being a comedy, but like the show is very funny, and there's the other episode that everybody talks about, the one involving the character Richie, who I didn't love as much as the Christmas episode and everyone else did, but is this character in the first season that like everybody seemed to hate, but like I liked him in the first season because, you know, it's good to have a bit of a foil like that. But I think the show is doing very well to, like, you know, set these characters on a path that like makes sense for them, even though stuff does seem to be going very well for a lot of the characters. Like, I think people were saying that they found that the drama was being taken out of the show by giving these characters paths to success, but I feel like it's done it in a very manageable way. But like by the end of the season, like, you know, the conflict, I think the conflict of the show, like at the end of the second season, is going to be ripe for a great third season. And I don't think the show needs to go on for too long, like, but it's I'm looking forward to seeing whatever they do for the next however many 1 or 2 seasons that I think they have left.
Yeah,
and of course Jeremy Allen White. Yeah. It's just extremely charismatic throughout the entire thing, and great to see on screen, like a person with an interesting face. Yeah. So you saying that?
Yeah, that and Scavenger's Reign were my 2 big blind spots for this year. So yeah, that's I really got to watch it because I watched the first few episodes and I really liked it, but for some reason I don't know why. I think it was just because the first season came in the middle of Honors, so that was quite a hectic time for me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping on that again.
Nice.
All right, Ben, what's your number 1 of the year?
Again, I think it's kind of redundant to talk about at this point, but yes. Succession season 4, the end of Succession, like what can I say about this? I didn't say in like how many hours of podcast we did earlier last year about the show while it was airing, but yeah, it's just phenomenal stuff. I just don't think it could have ended in a stronger way, where it might feel anticlimactic because of like the people that you were rooting for, or like it, but it just felt so just true to just like, okay, it's over. And like, yeah, and then the way you sit in that moment in the it's in the last like 10 minutes of the last episode that you just have to sit there and think about, you know, like how this is ending and how it's going to move forward, and it could move forward in any way, like, and there were like these like plot threads dangling in the best way, where like episode 8 everybody talked about as this like disastrous episode for the future of America in this story, and then like we just don't know what's going to happen with that. Like there's all these things just looming at the end, and like anything and everything will happen in like after this event of Succession, and like it, as Jesse Armstrong said, like they, you know, like they fulfilled the promise of the show, and I just think it was a stroke of genius, and I'm looking forward to seeing whatever he does next, be it a Peep Show legacy sequel or whatever. You know, like just it's outstanding stuff. Yeah, I don't think there's much more anyone can really say about Succession.
No, 100%. Yeah, no, that's completely in agreement. It really is a bit redundant to speak about now, almost like it's gotten all of the laurels it's deserved. I don't think that many people actually disagree with it. Like, people have said, oh, I prefer this show to Succession, but they'll I don't think anyone's who's watched Succession is being like, oh dang it, like how did that win? Like, yeah, it's going to be in the pantheon of great TV, and for great reason. Like, it's just that good. And yeah, I can't wait to see what Jesse Armstrong does next, because
100%.
yeah.
So
100%.
Jacob, it's time for your number one television TV series of 2023. I know what it is.
Yes, and I know that you disagree.
And I will not pipe up. I will not yap. I will not argue. But go ahead.
Look, anyone who knows me or anyone who's followed me on Twitter probably has guessed this by now, but yeah, it's The Curse. Like, Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie's fucking maelstrom of a show. Like, it's, I mean, look, I'm still digesting it, to be honest, because I think, like, it's not only a satire of gentrification and greenwashing and, like, just, you know, so much that has been spoken about in the show already, but it's just a really fucking sad, uncomfortable, and unrelenting TV show, in my opinion. I think that it's captured the attention of a lot of people for good reason, because a lot of TV shows would take this premise of, okay, yep, you got the couple who's, you know, one's really narcissistic, the other one's kind of submissive and kind of a loser, and they're kind of like fucking around like a, you know, a small town and gentrifying it. Like, there would so often be moments of levity or just like pointing at, oh, they're so goofy, but like, and I guess there is to an extent of that, but like the show just is so uncharitable to every single lead three characters, whether it be Emma Stone as Whitney, who's just this like tries to create this like very utopian reality, but just like, you know, fetishizes like Native Americans, but at the same time just cannot speak to one normally. Like, they just can't speak to a Native American person normally at all. You have Nathan Fielder, who's like this very pathetic, submissive, like loser character who's just like blindly following his wife, and even though his wife is clearly pushing him away, sees that as a test, and, you know, is just trying to do everything to like prove to himself that he can be a better person, and but he's also just not liked, and he knows that. I don't know, man. But again, I feel stupid speaking about this show because there's so many ways you can read it. It's a depressing disillusion of a marriage. It's a satire, but it's also can be very much read as sort of auto-critique on Fielder and Safdie's parts, you know. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to talk about the show without talking about the finale as well, which I'm not going to talk about for reasons, but it is like, besides that, it's just like some of the most like investing, uncomfortable. It's about constructed realities. It's about how much we give people charitable or uncharitable readings through how we construct quote-unquote realities, and also how people construct realities that are false for themselves. And you know, it has a bit of everything. It has the supernatural. It has a very devastating dissolution of a marriage, and it has like 3 genuinely towering performances from Betty Safdie, Emma Stone, and Nathan Fielder. There's a lot that's going to be said about this show over the next years, I presume. It's I can tell it's already made its mark in a lot of people's minds, and yeah, I'm looking forward to discussing and thinking about, and hopefully never rewatching this horrifying show ever again. But yeah, that was bar none my favorite TV show of 2023.
Okay. Look, I do want to say for the audience that I've already talked about this with Jacob. I do think it's a good show.
Yes.
That's it.
Fair enough.
No,
You
but
don't have to do anything. You don't have to feel anything.
It is good. I just found it to be a little bit wanting in some areas that it did a lot for other people.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But for me, it just didn't hit in that way. Before we wrap up this episode, we've got 2 more to record after this. Are there any honourable mentions you want to shout out that didn't make your top 5?
I'm currently watching Jury Duty, so that very possibly would have made my top 5, but I hadn't finished it yet, so I didn't feel like it'd be fair to the other shows to include that. What else have I watched this year? Only Murders in the Building is really good. I think that's a really good, sturdy comedy mystery, and, you know, a great central trio of performances. And I don't even know what else I watched in 2023, to be honest. Yeah, what about you, Ben?
I got a few I want to shout out. A couple on Apple TV Plus, which I think is kind of like the most underrated streaming service. Like, I think they just put out extremely quality shows, like, just through and through. Like, I don't think I've watched a show on Apple TV that I've hated or anything. But I want to shout out Platonic with Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne. Like, I don't know where these two met, but they are, they're, I don't know, they're just a great, like, comedic duo. They just really work well together, and the show, like, I find it kind of, you know, just slight, but very enjoyable watch for the two of those. Another Apple TV Plus show, Changeling with Lakeith Stanfield. It goes some, like, real, like, fantastical places that I just wouldn't have guessed from the beginning. Don't know if I quite loved it by the end, but it really just throughout the entire thing, I was just visually and I was just, you know, like that kind of thing where you just like, what is happening here, and you just want to like pull it apart a little bit and just see whether or not like there is anything to it. I think there is something to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're just not sure until the very end. Like, is it always going to be like pulled out from underneath me? But like, I think it works very well by the end.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to shout out is Reacher season 2. I still haven't watched the last 2 episodes, which came out, what day is it now? Like, came out a couple of days ago. The final episode, I haven't watched 7 or 8. But in terms of just like pulp, you know, just like mystery, just like ridiculous action. There's a big fucking huge guy just beating people up, breaking their legs, you know, like Alan Richardson, he's great, you know, like I've liked him ever since Blue Mountain State, which is, I think, is the pinnacle of his career, which I hate to say it, but like he's such a great performer for like this meathead guy. Like, Reacher's not really like a meathead, but he's just you know, like he's a big bloke.
He's a hulking fella.
Yeah, and
definitely.
I don't think it's as immediately good as the first season though, which I think it's just weirdly gives me like True Detective season 1 vibes, like the first season of that show. Have you watched it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, but like there's kind of like folky nature to the first season that really got me at the time. That I was like, this is immediately, I want to watch all of it. But yeah, season 2 has been really good so far. Can't wait to see how it ends. But yeah,
actually, I have another honorable mention. Sorry,
yeah.
Kunk on Earth, great, absolutely great.
Kunk
on Earth.
Oh yeah. Philomena Kunk.
Like, hysterical. Yeah, but also I think I said that I had a few blind spots. I really need to watch I'm a Virgo, Dreaming Whilst Black. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off and Beef. I think those are the other 4 shows that I really missed out on this year that everyone seems to be really loving. So, yeah.
Okay. Is there anything coming in 2024 that you're very much looking forward to at all?
I don't know. I mean, if this is the final season of The Boys, then
It won't
yeah. But I doubt it will be. I don't know. I think obviously Abbott Elementary coming next month. Final season of Curb, that's going to be good. I'm interested to see if Halo season 2 is you know how I don't know. Just
Look,
are
I
they
said,
gonna-
like, when I watched that first trailer, I was kind of like, because I dropped off the Halo series after, like, I think, like, 3 episodes, because I was like, this is just wrong. Like, everything I said about The Last of Us, which is the show I was talking about at the beginning of this episode, where everybody seemed to love it, but, like, you know, I just think it's a fundamentally flawed adaptation. Halo is that times a million, where everything's just wrong. But the trailer for season 2, they're doing Reach, which is, I think, the most potent story in the entire, like, Halo franchise. And I won't give them a chance. I won't watch it. But, like, you know, it is what it is. The thing I was going to talk about, knock on wood, Severance season 2.
Hopefully let's
Release
hope we
this
get
year,
that.
please. Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Just, you know, stop doing what you do. I don't know what he does in his spare time, but just, you know, just give it to us.
Yeah.
Ben, you're
obviously, Andor would be there, but that's delayed to 2025, which, you know, take your time. But
Yeah, well, it's the last season.
Also-
It's not like we're gonna, like, have to wait even longer after that or anything. So
yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's been 2023 in TV for us.
yeah,
Please, if you want to listen to our best video games and best films of 2023, watch this space, or if they're already out, just click onto the next episode.
yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.